Can I ask you about climate change?
Yeah.
And your read on that? Big debate right now, global warming, human-made. How do you see what's actually happening here?
Scam. I mentioned earlier an organization called the Club of Rome. Club of Rome was started in 1968, and it's part of a network of organizations. Towards the end of the 19th century, early 20th century, secret society was created in Britain called the Round Table. The first head of it was Cecil Rhodes, who was a Rothschild agent. That's why he went into southern Africa and pillaged the gold and diamond resources and destroyed that society on behalf of the Rothschilds. And he was the head of the Round Table. Then when he died, another guy called Alfred Milner took over, another Rothschild agent. And this secret society started spawning satellite organizations. First one they created was the Royal Institute of International Affairs in London, also known as Chatham House. Think tanks, this is what they are. Watch the think tanks, big time. And then they created something in America, which was an American version of that, called the Council on Foreign Relations. Council on Foreign Relations has, to a very large extent, driven American foreign policy ever since to this day. Then came the Bilderberg Group in 1954, formed at the Bilderberg Hotel in Oosterbeek, Holland. Then in 1968 came the Club of Rome, and then came the Trilateral Commission in 72, 73. Now, the Club of Rome was created specifically to use the environment as an excuse to transform society. And I've been writing about this for a long time. And basically, you say, to save the planet, this has to happen. And to save the planet, it's a globe, therefore we have to have global centralization of power to save the planet. And so the Club of Rome has been one of the big drivers of human-caused climate change, or the illusion of it. And then came a United Nations agenda called Agenda 21. And that laid out a strategy for transforming society to meet the challenge of climate change. It was everything that they wanted. And then later, more recently, they've advanced that, and they call it now Agenda 2030, which is an updated version of the same thing. And when you read Agenda 2030, it is a tyranny's dream, because it dictates every area of human life, including education, to save the planet. And this is problem, reaction, solution, as I call it. And this has been worked towards for a long time. So you create the illusion of the problem, and then you offer the solutions to the problem, which is centralization of power, centralized control. Now, bringing it up to date, one of the most classic Soros progressives around today is a lady in America, a congresswoman, she's recently elected, called Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's classic, nothing to do with facts, just this is how it is. And she's just come out now, and it's got a lot of coverage in America, a lot of support in the Democratic Party, called the Green New Deal. Because she says, I would say bizarrely, and scientists would also say bizarrely too, that we have 12 years to save the planet. We had a few years to save the planet some years back, and it long passed and we're still here. And what her Green New Deal demands is exactly what I've been writing for years, is the plan to transform human society into a centralized dictatorship on the justification of we have to do this to save the planet.
And we don't need to save the planet.
No.
And humans aren't causing an aggressive form of global warming.
No, the
that's hurting us.
planet doesn't need saving. I mean, its natural balance mechanisms will kick us off before it needs any help.
But are we going to harm ourselves more in the meantime?
No, I've just been reading. See, it's a psychological game. So you have a major weather event in the 1950s, and it's a major weather event. Oh yeah, well that was a bit extreme, wasn't it? You have one now, global warming, it's climate change. And I've just been reading a very, very interesting book by an American meteorologist called Joe Bastardi, who is, since he was a little kid, he was obsessed with the weather. He just loves weather and weather forecasting, and he's just really kind of obsessed with it. And he was observing all this. And being obsessed with the weather, he's looked at charts going back forever, And he's looking at all these claims about this is global warming, this is climate change. And he's going, well, hold on a minute. That happened in the 1950s. That happened in the 1920s. And what he does in this book is he shows the repeating cycles that cause the outcome. So in the 1920s or earlier, there is a cycle where the Atlantic cools and the Pacific warms. There's another cycle where the Pacific cools and the Atlantic warms. And that has a knock-on effect that eventually reaches a weather outcome. Now, he's pointing out in this book that when this sequence happens today, the outcome is, that's climate change, we're all going to die. And then he goes back in his book and he shows that in the 1950s, the 1940s, this same cycle happened, and the outcome that he's now blamed on climate change happened. I mean, the planet today is nothing like as warm as it was in what they call the medieval warm period, when there was no carbon dioxide emissions from technology. I mean, what caused it then? Turbocharged handcarts? I mean, it's crazy. And the other thing is that we went from this really warm period, the medieval warm period, about 1,000 years ago, and then we came down into what they call the Little Ice Age, which is still portrayed today on some Christmas cards with people skating on the Thames, when temperatures became very, very cold. And there's a correlation between the two, which I'll come to in a second. And then we started coming out of the Little Ice Age into the present day. And a lot of, they say, this is the warmest day since records began. A lot of those records began, well, we're still coming out of the Little Ice Age. So the comparison between then and now is completely unsupportable. Have you noticed that whenever they're talking about the climate and climate change and global warming, they never mention the bloody sun. They don't mention it. It's all carbon dioxide. But by the way, without carbon dioxide, we'd all be dead. It's what gives life to the planet. And another, by the way, 98% or thereabouts of greenhouse gases, which are supposed to hold the heat in, or do hold the heat in, is water vapor and clouds. And when you see the graph, there's water vapor and clouds. Here's carbon dioxide. And the vast majority of this carbon dioxide is naturally generated, not human generated.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business. one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year is going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline. I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up. If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?